Democrats vote against the ban on insider stock trading because they want to get rich, baby. And more on the New Jersey voter fraud scandal. It's bigger than we first thought. Shocking, right? Let's go.
Let's go.
This is entirely something that the federal government is suing New Jersey over, investigating. Harmeet Dillon talking with Benny Johnson yesterday and saying, this is bigger than we imagined. You know, the estimate the feds put is like 35,000 non-citizens who were registered to vote. I bet you it's even more than that. Because here's the thing. They gave out driver's licenses to illegals. That was Murphy's thing. We played the clip for you yesterday. I'm not going to play it again because, you know, we have another clip of him that's going to make your ears freaking bleed. But Murphy gave driver's licenses to illegals. And the process was, if you get a license, you basically get registered to vote. And then that's how it was. And they wanted that. That was deliberate. That was done on purpose. So we're going to find this is even bigger. But I'm really glad that the feds are looking into this because as a guy who grew up in Jersey politics and has seen it all, I mean, handed out money and cigarettes and street money and all the other stuff, I have no doubt that this is going to turn into one of the biggest scandals we have seen. And I think Governor Mikey Sherrill knows that. That's why she came out and tried to very quickly say, oh, this is no big deal, no big whoop. You know, it's only 400 people. 400 people. Now, the feds want to know who they are. Who are these 400 people that broke the law? Because they did. They broke the law. The state of New Jersey is saying, we're not going to turn over that data to you. But these 400 individuals broke the law. You have to realize that. They voted when they knew they were not allowed to vote, and that is a crime. I don't know if it's a felony or misdemeanor. I have to check on that. But either way, it's a crime. And the feds want to go after these 400 people. And I'd like to know which elections they voted in, how close were those margins, and did it affect the outcome of that? I'm not saying they can do anything about it, but I'd like to know because there are very close races, particularly on the municipal level, where very important issues are decided, like, say, where to build the quote-unquote affordable housing units. You know, Democrats want to destroy towns by putting in these affordable housing units, and sometimes these races for mayor come down to a handful of votes. So did any of those illegals vote in those elections that maybe gave it to a Democrat mayor who's now building massive housing units to meet their quote-unquote affordable housing requirement versus fighting it? I want to know. Now, the media, of course, is dismissing this. You know, this is all a fugazi. This is no big deal, blah, blah, blah. You have Democrat members of Congress saying voter fraud doesn't exist. I want to start with MS Now's Molly Jong Fast, who said, I mean, even in the wake of all this right now, they're trying to twist it. Josh Shapiro doing the same thing. Gavin Newsom doing the same thing. Now, this is just about Trump's attempts to steal the election that's coming up in midterms. I'm not kidding. They're using the voter fraud scandal in New Jersey to say that Donald Trump is going to steal the midterm elections. This is their kooky conspiracy theory, and they're out there saying it, and they're saying it on every massive media outlet platform that they possibly can. Take a listen.
And this was Governor Mikey Sherrill, Democrat, just voted into office there, went through the voter rolls and did find 400 instances where non-citizens were able to cast a ballot. How concerned are you about that?
I mean, again, good for her for transparency and talking about it and those people are no longer on the rolls. And look, that is good. The question is, like, does Trump now, and we're seeing this already, use it to prove a point that doesn't exist?
What doesn't exist? What doesn't exist? You just found 6,600 non-citizens on the voter rolls. 400 of them voted and broke the law. What doesn't exist? It's like literally bringing in a horse into your room and going, wow, horses can't be in rooms. That's ridiculous. They don't go in houses. It's like, dude, there's a giant horse in your bedroom. What are you talking about here? I'm using a horse analogy because, you know, the Trojan horse is kind of all the rage right now again. And yes, I'm wearing my Reagan Bush 84 t-shirt, which I used to be too fat to wear. It would kind of like my man boobs would stick out, but now I can wear it. I'm fit now. So thanks to heart surgery, I've lost some weight. Nice little perk of that, by the way. So I found this old t-shirt in my drawer and I was like, wow, this is in the fat collection. You know what I mean? And you're always tempted. Do you give away the clothes from the fat collection, or do you keep them in case you get, put on the pounds again. I'm giving them away, Jared. I'm not taking the risk. I feel like if the clothes are gone, there's no turning back.
I just recently fit a shirt that I couldn't fit, that I bought and wore one time exactly, because I thought if I buy clothing, I'll stay this new weight. That'll happen.
Yes, exactly right. So I got some fitted shirts too, custom made, because I thought, if I do this, I spend this money, then I'm going to, So then when we went to Di Lorenzo's for pizza last night in Robbinsville, New Jersey, fantastic. And I ate an entire freaking pie by myself. It's probably only a matter of time until we're slowly dipping into the chubby collection.
The viewers don't know this, but there was a point when you did there was some weight loss doctor and you were doing it, and they went, okay, so what are the things you need? And you're like, I need wine and pizza. And they go, okay, well, are there some other ways we can work around this? You're like, no, I can't do any diet that doesn't allow me to have wine and pizza. That's all I need.
It's true. Those are the building blocks of life for me. I need it's just to sustain my existence. Democrats using this for this crazy conspiracy theory. It's not just the kooks. It's also the ones who are the quote unquote moderate, sensible Democrats who want to occupy that lane in 2028, like Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania.
We need to talk. I don't know if you saw Trump's just absolutely unhinged rant from the White House last week, one where he lied about our elections, the election back in 2020 that he lost, that he's now lying about, making up all kinds of information that just simply doesn't exist in reality. Back in 2020, Donald Trump and his enablers sued me 43 different times to try and throw out the votes of the people of Pennsylvania. He went 0-43, I went 43-0, and we had a free and fair, safe and secure election. I understand that people are worried and concerned and fearful now given the rantings of the president. Hear me on this. As your governor, I will do everything in my power to ensure that whether you vote by mail or you vote in person, your vote will be tallied and the will of the people will be respected, period. Presidents don't run elections. We run them in the states and the counties. I want to say a special thank you to the Republican and Democratic clerks of elections who run.
That's enough for him. All right, thank you. So you see, Trump's unhinged rant, all a big plot to steal the election. They're going to be the defenders, the avengers to defend the election integrity. Dude, look across the river. I mean, Pennsylvania and New Jersey, if you're not from this part of the country, they actually are separated by a river. It's called the Delaware River. Like, just look at it. Look across the river and you could see the election fraud that's happening. And what about your state? You're telling me that no dead people vote in Philadelphia? Everybody knows the dead vote in Philadelphia. Stop it. Stop it. And Gavin Newsom doing the same thing. Because if you want to run for president, you got to be crazy. You got to embrace this, and you got to make this conspiracy theory. And when it doesn't happen, because it's not going to happen, Donald Trump is not going to steal the midterm elections. Midterms will happen. But when it doesn't happen, do you think these guys will be penalized for their crazy fear-mongering conspiracy theories? Absolutely not. Everybody will just pretend like they never said it. Take a listen.
Donald Trump's going to do everything to try to steal this election. He was unhinged the other night. That was 25th Amendment stuff. He was unhinged. I mean, 25th thank God Amendment. For, broken clock, but even the Wall Street Journal editorial board, the New York Post even recognized that, which is extraordinary. He was unhinged. Unfounded allegations of election fraud. It's madness. But he's setting it up. He's setting you all up. You know what he's doing. He's doing it in plain sight. He's socializing all of this to normalize all of this. And he's going to have masked men in and around polling places, just as he did in Los Angeles last November. BORTAC teams that were sent out before the polls were open. Border Patrol tactical units. He said on that same election day that the election was rigged. No evidence of that. Sent out Department of Justice personnel to find something anomaly, and then went to try to get to the Supreme Court to throw out the election. This guy's not screwing around. That's what he will do this November at scale. He doesn't believe in fair and free elections. He believes only in competitive authoritarianism. He wants to have an election, but he wants the election that Putin has.
25th Amendment, Putin, it's madness. This is a governor saying this. And by the way, Governor, why do you care if Border Patrol's by an election booth? Why would an illegal want to vote? See, this is the issue. I've said this for a long time. Why not allow Border Patrol actually to do election security? What are you worried about? Because illegals don't. We keep hearing Democrats say that it's a lie that non-citizens vote. We keep hearing that. We hear members of the media say that. At the very same time, they turn around and tell you we should not have Border Patrol or ICE by election centers. Why not? If illegals are not voting, they're going to be very bored. They're going to have nothing to do. They'll just be standing there because there's no illegals showing up to vote. Nobody who would ever dare break the law and vote when they're not supposed to because they lied about being eligible to vote. It doesn't happen. So what are you worried about? See, that is exactly right there how you know they're lying to you. That's how you know. Jake Tapper. Why would an illegal want to vote? Exactly, Jake. Why would they want to vote? I mean, so then what are you worried about if Border Patrol or ICE is by an election center? Cut 7.
If you're in the country illegally and you get a letter saying that you can vote and you know you're not supposed to, not only you're not supposed to vote, you're not supposed to be there, why do you vote? Like, how do you get registered for a party? Well, some of them but I just wonder, that's some stupid business.
That's some stupid business. I mean, right? 400 voted in New Jersey, but I mean, that's no big whoop. No, it doesn't, because it doesn't happen. I mean, it happened, but it doesn't happen. Macy Hirono, the dumbest United States senator, not on the mainland because she's from Hawaii. I mean, again, with the why would illegals want to vote? This is why. Why would they want to do this? This is the new talking point that is being issued out there right now. Like, these people would never want to do this. They wouldn't want to engage in it. Take a listen.
And let's be very clear about something else. Non-citizen voting in federal elections is already illegal. It is a federal crime.
Oh, there you go. It's a felony.
If a non-citizen illegally votes in a federal election, they could be prosecuted and even sentenced up to 5 years in prison. Who is going to commit this kind of fraud knowing that they could be in prison for 5 years?
Now, 400 of them did in New Jersey. And so before I said, I don't know if it's a misdemeanor or a felony, felony on the federal level, but apparently we're told this happened in 2023, which would be the state assembly and possibly the state senate elections. I have to check on that. It might have been the assembly, but either way, I don't know what the state law is, which is why I said that. But let's assume either way, we know they're not supposed to vote, and they voted. They're saying it's 2023. Okay, that was a legislative election, and also municipal, mayors, town council. We should find out who these 400 people are, and we should charge them. They broke the law. They committed a crime. And you know what the Democrats turn around and say? They say, we're going to make sure that we protect the integrity of elections by protecting every voter and keeping your identity private. Whoa, these people broke the law. If they robbed a bank and the feds were like, 400 people robbed the bank, we want to know who they are, and the state knows, why, you're not going to turn it over? They committed a crime. Why should they not be prosecuted? That's what I want to know. Why should they not? But again, it never happens. We're told it never happens. It doesn't matter. It never happens. Here's Abby Phillip from CNN back in January, and then in July after the New Jersey thing came out.
He's been in office for a full year now. They have not come up with any of this purported evidence of voter fraud. You guys are in search of something that there's been no evidence exists. New Jersey is double checking its voter rolls tonight after a software error added 6,600 non-citizens to the voter rolls. The suggestion that this is fraud suggests that these people were trying to vote. Sometimes what happens is that when state systems are incorrect, people receive information and they are confused. Where some people who are ineligible to vote are not aware that they're ineligible to vote. I do think whether it is widespread or not matters. I do think that the numbers actually matter.
Governor Phil Murphy back in 2021, his royal rugness, King Philip the Unaccountable. You're never going to find voter fraud. It doesn't exist.
Tell the truth. I mean, the chances of voter fraud, and this is true, uncovering voter fraud is less than the chances you'd get hit by lightning. And I don't say that with any sort of amount of humor. We lost a lifeguard a couple of weeks ago in Berkeley Township struck by lightning. It just isn't. It barely exists in terms of voter fraud. Now, does that mean that there aren't situations that come up that our folks deal with? Yes, but it's a de minimis frequency. It just doesn't happen. Our elections are safe and secure, and we're going to make sure we keep them that way.
Okay. And then, of course, we know that that's not what happened in the state. And that's the big story of the hour, brought to you by Dr. Mike Veneria Dental. He's my buddy. He's my friend. He's my dentist. And I have to reschedule my appointment from yesterday because I had to cancel it because they needed me up in New York. And Dr. Mike was very cool about that because he's a great friend, personal friend, great dentist, the master of dental implants. You have to understand something, okay? And this is really important. This is what Democrats want to do. They want to cheat. I can't stress that enough to you. They want to cheat and they want illegals to vote. They want this to happen. It is what they want to do. And I know this because I've seen it firsthand. This is not an accident. It's like I said to you yesterday, this wasn't a software glitch. This wasn't Jack the Ripper. This wasn't a motorboat. It was a shark. It was done deliberately. Yes, I love Jaws references and will use them every chance I get. And since we're being censored, apparently, or deplatformed by Apple, you have to really work hard to find the podcast right now. I don't know what's going on, but all I know is I'm going to tell the truth about this. And the Democrats, again, here's what they say. This never happened. This is the thing that never happened. Cut 10.
There is no evidence that undocumented migrants vote.
We're debating a problem that does not exist.
This is a solution in search of a problem that does not exist.
The evidence is almost no illegal immigrants vote. Some benign effort to tell the small number of illegal immigrants.
The reports show voter fraud is exceedingly rare, but there's a couple things we know about the administration.
Citizen voting in federal elections is already illegal.
There is no evidence of fraud or corruption.
All because we don't have a problem with illegal aliens voting in the country.
It's not an issue that you have undocumented people in mass numbers voting. You know.
Very, very rare instances, but then just make the bill workable. But
it is absolutely vanishingly rare.
There's no evidence that non-citizens are voting.
I think they
think
that it's already.
This goes on for a while. It's a supercut put together by Tom Elliott from Grabian. Does a great job with this. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. We need the Save America Act, and we have to pass the Save America Act. I want to remind you, we're going to be live in Cape May on August 7th. It's a Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey, and I want to see you there. You better be there, okay? You better be there, and we better pass the Save America Act. Here's President Trump calling out John Thune for not getting this done.
We have to pass the Save America Act to defend American elections.
Yes, gotta. Has to happen. And this is what the sensible American people, every person should want this.
And I have to say, Mike Johnson and Congress have done a great job, but we're having a hard time in the Senate. The Senate, what they're doing is just not right. Congress is going to pass it again. They passed it 3 times. They're going to pass it again. It's like the Senate is a place that you send things when you want them to die. We can't do this, and we're not going to take this any longer. We're not going to take it. You know, I'm trying to be nice, trying to be really nice. You saw we had a big victory last night in Arizona.
So we got to get this done. And Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, is working on that and confirming that they can do it with 50 votes. You don't have to kill the filibuster. You can get it done. I tell you what, Mike Lee, I'll play a little bit. Mike Lee was the one who figured this out. You can pass the Save America Act under budget reconciliation, needing 50 votes plus 1. That's it. You don't have to kill the filibuster. You don't have to do anything like that. You can just do it this way. Mike Lee knows the Constitution. This guy knows the rules of the Senate. He is so smart, one of the smart. He's not exactly the most dynamic, but he's brilliant. And this is what he found out.
After the House passed its budget today, opening the door for a possible third round of reconciliation in which the Save America Act could be attached, I started looking more closely at this. I think I may have been mistaken. I think I may have been too hasty in concluding that the Save America Act can't be made budgetary. I think there's a path. I'm saying there's a chance. And we got to fight for every single possibility that that chance could materialize.
There you go. And here's Speaker Mike Johnson on that.
And the budget resolution that unlocks our third reconciliation bill, which of course is Republicans' best shot to get as much of the Save America Act into law as possible, in addition to funding our national defense and our farmers. Republicans support our troops, our farmers, and election security. We're the only team in Washington that does. Many of you doubted our success. Many of you standing around me in the Skaggle right now said, let me read you a sample of the headlines. Quote, House Republicans face final week gauntlet. Another said, Johnson's rocky sprint to recess. Another said it was Johnson's make or break week. Despite nearly every Democrat voting against everything I just read you, House Republicans delivered. Now, many of you like to say that major legislating can't happen in an election year. We just proved you wrong. This week
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. All right. So the question, of course, is, will John Thune go along with this? I'm going to give you the answer. But first, I want to tell you about Tri-County Auto, because it's great time to get over there with new deals on Jeeps and Toyota. It's bigger. It's better. It is the July 4th sales event that goes all through July at Tri-County Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. This month, get up to 20% off a new 2026 Ram 1500. And you're going to get a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. That is amazing. Or you can lease a new 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude X for just $398 a month. It's unbelievable. And the fireworks aren't just in the sky. They're on the lot this July at Tri-County Toyota. Get explosive savings like a new 2026 Toyota Tundra with 2.99% APR financing. These deals will be gone, though, so make sure you head there today. I'm a customer. We just bought a beautiful Toyota Sienna from Tri-County Toyota, and I drive a Jeep, and I can tell you, having two cars made in America in my garage makes me feel very good because, yes, the Toyota we have, built in the USA. Toyota's made a massive investment in America. They now have one of the, if not the biggest, auto plant in the United States, and they're expanding. So get the Tri-County Auto today. They're great people over there. Brian Krieger is a fantastic guy. Jack Donaldson, the general manager, wonderful man. They'll take great care of you. Tell them I sent you. Look for the gigantic American flag in Limerick, close to King of Prussia, Exton, the main line, Jersey, everywhere. TriCounty.com. So will John Thune go along with this idea of budget reconciliation to get the Save America Act passed? It's workable. It's doable. Mike Lee says they can do it. And Mike Lee was a skeptic at first, but he figured it out. Well, here's the Fox News report on that.
Republicans are trying to make good on their legislative agenda by passing a batch of measures before their annual summer recess. This includes the Save America Act and even a plan to avoid a fall government shutdown. Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram explains the summertime sprint from Capitol Hill. Good evening, Chad.
Brett, good evening. The House just okayed $95 billion for the Pentagon and the war in Iran. It's part of a hectic day on the House floor. The House of Representatives trying to cure the legislative summertime blues.
Save America Act.
Stock Trading Act.
The Republican Reconciliation 3.0.
The NDAA.
The House approved a stopgap bill to avoid a government shutdown this fall.
Let's just take this off the table. Let's get this through the election.
The House sending the Senate a budget framework to pay for the conflict in Iran, tacking on the Save America Act. But there's GOP skepticism.
I'm not 100% convinced that the save language is going to be held solid through the Senate.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune may not even tackle the budget blueprint until September.
We could pull that budget resolution passed by the House and use it to fund government.
That package is immune to filibusters. Republicans could then cut Democrats out of the funding process.
It's very ominous. The reconciliation process is an indication of failure on the part of the institution.
Republicans hope the threat compels Democrats to help avoid a fall government shutdown.
I think Leader Thune believes he'll have some reasonable Democrats.
All right, that's good. Thank you very much. So you see, the skepticism of the Senate, again, very, very real. And as far as Democrats go, dozens of House Democrats reject the bill fusing congressional stock ban with federal voter ID. So I had a buddy of mine text me, and we'll put up the story for you from foxnews.com. A buddy of mine texted me yesterday. So I'm taking riding home from New York, and says to me, he goes, why would these Democrats vote against this? I mean, isn't this a bad look for them? The package split Democrats who said the voter ID rules amount to suppression and the trading ban does not go far enough. Oh, give me a freaking break. The reason why they voted against this is because they still want to make money and they don't want to have voter ID. I'll give you a great example. The governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, let's bring it back to Jersey for a second. She made millions of dollars as a member of Congress. Millions trading stocks. Trading stocks that had to do with her committee, by the way, millions of dollars. And now we know that there's illegals voting in New Jersey, something we've always known. You tie those two together and you should say, A, we should have a ban on members of Congress trading stock. And B, we should have voter ID and require and pass the Save America Act so that the illegals can't vote. That's what we should be doing, obviously. And also taking peptides. But that's something that may happen as well. Jared, do you take peptides?
No, I drink water. That's the one I do.
I mean, everybody drinks water. I don't like. What is that?
That's the only weird substance.
That's your health secret. Water.
That's my health secret. Water.
Are you one of those 64 ounces a day guys?
Just a couple whenever I'm bored. No, I don't do anything. I don't take anything. Like I don't even have Advil in the house.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And not that. Listen, if you want to do it, it works for you. Great. But I just try to not eat like a jerk.
Peptides are all the rage now. I
know. Everybody's crazy about them.
But what I don't understand, I think this happened because maybe like Joe Rogan started doing them or something like that. Is that what led to this? Because there's a whole culture, I think, kind of in the bro culture of doing peptides.
So my limited understanding from friends that have been evangelical to me about it is it's two things. One is peptides became more available. They became easier to make and compound. And the GLPs make people less freaked out about injecting themselves with something. Because most of the peptide, like it was like, oh, I'll take a pill, but I won't do a needle. Now everyone's like, a needle. Who cares?
So the peptides are basically like amino acids, and they're supposed to have all of these incredible benefits. Two stories for you on this. The FDA discovers the power of peptides. Biologic medications are too costly, even after their patents expire. Now there's an inexpensive alternative. This is being pushed by Secretary of Health Bobby Kennedy, who wants people to be able to have access to these things. Now, I'm all for that, by the way. That's the I guess the libertarian in me. It's your body, man. You want to try something, you want to do something, knock yourself out. I personally don't have any problem with this. The pharmaceutical companies do, though, however. They don't like this. They don't like the compounded pharma. Like Big Pharma wants to shut this down because there's generic versions of, say, like Ozempic or something like that you can get in a compound from a pharmacy. And they did a lot of that during COVID because they were in short supply. Now the pharmaceutical company that owns those drugs wants to stop these smaller pharmacies from doing these compounds. About 90% of U.S. drug prescriptions in 2022 were for unbranded generics, so-called small molecules. And the workaround for this, because this is obviously expensive, is that they have these American developed drugs, oral biomimetic engineered cyclic peptides, ECPs, can in some cases replicate the therapeutic function of an injected biologic in pill form without replacing its complex structure. And they can go through this and help people with this. And the FDA approved last week this new treatment, a cholesterol-reducing drug that replicates the function of an existing large molecule biologics while cutting prices dramatically. What the FDA is trying to do is to be able to cut costs for consumers and then get this into the hands of people. NPR has a story on this as well. And they talk about how peptides get their regulatory close-up. The United States Department of Health, the Secretary of Health, Bobby Kennedy, and other people, they are convening a panel of outside experts for a 2-day meeting starting on Thursday to make recommendations on whether compounding pharmacies should be allowed to make some of the more popular injectable peptides. The Pharmacy Compounding Advisory Committee will begin today. Actually, it's happening right now. They're going to review evidence for 7 compounds. And one guy who's a molecular biologist at the University of California says, I see it as very risky. He says these are drugs and they haven't been scientifically proven. Well, look, I mean, if you feel like it's risky, don't take it. There was Jared, you saw the Dallas Buyers Club, right? With Matthew McConaughey?
Yes, heck yeah. Great movie.
Great movie.
Film. Yeah.
So these guys found a treatment for HIV that was not legal in the United States, and they were able to get it in Mexico. And that's what the Dallas Buyers Club was all about, right? They were able to get the drug, and they were, and then the FDA was trying to go after them because they were basically like getting the drugs. If I remember it correctly.
And there's actually a guy in Philly, or he went to Penn. Dr. Maz, friend of the program, knows him. So this guy had a very rare disease, and he was terminal. And when he was in medical school, started taking another medicine that had showed promise for it. The thing is when a drug company has to go forward, they go, okay, well, this thing might cure this, might cure this, might cure this. Well, which one makes us money? Which one is going to get approved? And they go one way, and then everything is off-label use. This guy has now done it 2 or 3 times where he has found cures for diseases with FDA-approved medicines that are technically off-label, and he created an AI algorithm to tell you, hey, what are the chances that your ibuprofen is going to cure cancer? Well, it's a 0.00000001%. Well, what's the chance that this medicine might cure this disease? Well, that's a 31% chance, and it kind of works with that. So my point was, there are lots and lots and lots of things that are not exactly what the FDA approved, or not yet FDA approved, that actually work.
Or work off label from what the FDA approved.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, and I'm all for people having the right to try. I think it's incredibly important, having the right to try medication. I'm all for that. Peptides were pulled from the regulated compounding pharmacies, but demand didn't go away, it went underground. See, this is the thing with bans. Whether you ban alcohol, you ban drugs, you ban social media, whatever it is, if people want something, they're going to find a way to get it. That's why prohibition doesn't work. So like they just banned social media in France for anyone under 16. Stupid. Those kids, they'll find a way. And what will happen is there'll be social media apps that are harder for parents to track than, say, the big ones like Instagram and others. And it's just going to make the parents' jobs even harder, because there will be underground apps, and the kids will find a way to communicate with each other and do it in a way that the parents are not aware. You don't solve a problem by banning something. That never works. So what you have right now, you have these peptides, strings of amino acids, smaller than a protein, that act as a signaling molecule in our bodies and carry out many critical functions. They could be synthesized and delivered as drugs. Some of those, like insulin, are naturally occurring in the body. Others are modified versions, as with many of the blockbuster GLP-1 weight loss drugs. For example, BPC 157 is based on a peptide found in human stomach juices, while TB500 is related to a molecule found in many types of cells called thymyosin beta 4. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., with the Make America Health Again, has been publicly advocating for lifting restrictions on peptides, and he has talked about their benefits many, many times. His agency is now making further additions to allow people to get access to these things. But you have the career scientists at the FDA recommending against compounding pharmacies having the green light to produce any of the 7 peptides that are under consideration. These are the same people, of course, who told us during COVID that you should wear a mask, but also they knew the masks weren't effective. Take the vaccine, you won't get COVID, even though people who took the vaccine got COVID. So the scientists, many of these people say this because you know what they're hoping for? A job at Big Pharma. Look, I keep telling you got to watch the show Dope Sick if you've never watched it. You got to watch it. It's great. It's on Hulu. I actually rewatched it when I came home from the hospital because I was so hopped up on oxycodone. I wanted to make sure that I was reminded of what could go wrong. No, really, I did.
It had to, isn't it? The main Michael Keaton. He's based in Pennsylvania, right? Wasn't that where he was? Well,
actually, it's based on a doctor in Pennsylvania. They made it West Virginia, or I think in the movie, or the show. But yeah, it was based on a Pennsylvania doctor.
Yeah,
who got hooked on oxy, and then
Whoops.
So I didn't want to get hooked on oxy, but I needed it, So I watched Dope Sick to remind myself of all the BS that Purdue Pharma told everybody, like you got to double the dose, breakthrough pain. But all that stuff is still used today in hospitals. I mean, when I had my open heart surgery, and I think you know this too, when you go to the doctor, you go there and they ask you, what's your pain level? And they have the faces that was made by the pharma company. Then they told me, like, all right, we're going to give you this, but if you have breakthrough pain, then call us and we'll give you a little bit of Dilaudid. When I was now I needed all this, but I'm saying, like, those terms, the pharmaceutical company came up with all that stuff. They created that, and they made pain this vital sign that hospitals and doctors now became, like in medical school, I keenly aware of. I'm just saying that for the FDA's perspective, the FDA guy who's sitting there wants to leave the FDA and triple his salary working for a pharmaceutical company. So this guy at the time at the FDA, he put this label on that said oxycodone has a less than 1% chance of addiction. Then he gets a job at Purdue Pharma and makes a ton of cash. I mean, a ton of cash, for a lot more than he did at the FDA. This is why there's this cycle door. What I like about this, it's what Bobby Kennedy's doing. It's what Marty McCarty's doing. It's what Jay Bhattacharya is doing. It is trying to get people to be able to have more access to drugs and more freedom to choose, and to be able to understand that big pharma doesn't necessarily want, say, a peptide that might cure cancer. There's a lot of reasons why I think we all know certain diseases they're not trying to find cures for, because there's a lot of money treating those diseases. I mean, think about it. If tomorrow they discovered the cure for cancer, how many cancer centers around here would be closed? I mean, you drive around, you see them all the time. Everyone's got a huge cancer center. It's big business, big money. So if they were able to find a peptide that was able to cure cancer, I mean, what do you do? But the problem is that big pharma, the incentive for them to find a cure for something is not there. The incentive to get people on a treatment that they need to get refilled every month is there. That's their incentive. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he expected the FDA to change the status of about 14 of these peptides. And, people like Joe Rogan and some others have said these things can help you with your skin, with your health, with losing weight, longevity. And they're buying them, and even though the FDA prohibits them, they're still buying them. So then what do you have happen? You have a market that occurs where people are buying stuff that is made, but it's not safe. It's maybe made in China, and God only knows what's in it, and you don't know what's in it. And so when you have a ban, but people want this, and the wellness community that's out there saying, look, this helps with tissue repair and skin health and body composition, immune function, longevity. The evidence is all there. It helps. You got to have these things. But if the FDA says they're banned, then they buy them on the black market. Jared, everybody finds a black market for everything. And I am a big fan of the black market.
Or the gray market.
I got a guy. Oh, yeah, black market's racist. You can't say that.
Yeah, no, it's 2026. You can just call it the market. No, and this is the problem with a lot of supplements right now is they don't do it here, and people just buy random lead-filled supplements from China because you will go, as to quote Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way.
Yes. Excellent quote from Jeff Goldblum. Life finds a way. And I got a guy. That's my quote.
I got a guy.
So go to richiespeptides@gmail.com. We'll hook you up.
Richie's Peptides. It's like the best peptide maker is Alpha Peptides. Then you've got Quantum Peptides and Richie's Peptides. Don't forget about Richie's Peptides.
Come on, I got Richie's
quality
Peptides.
Compounding there. Quality compounding.
They're nothing but the best, all right? The finest peptides you find anywhere. Will these peptides cure cancer? Yeah.
Hey, maybe. I don't know. Sal, he's been fine. Look at him. Sal, huh?
Look at him over there. He's lost
fine.
150 pounds. You should have seen him. He gave up his unlimited pasta and breadstick card at Olive Garden. And look at the guy. Inject a few peptides and Sal's good.
What a
good
sin.
to go.
Rich, did you know that actually the GLPs, that Pfizer had them 15 years before they went to market? And they never developed them because they said no one's going to stick a needle every single week in their, in themselves. They're like, well, we got to make this a pill. We can't make it a pill. So it just sat there. The point is, there are things that are out there that we don't necessarily have access to that are around.
Yeah. But people have been shooting themselves with needles for years. It's called heroin. I mean, like, obviously people will shoot up.
By the way,
they've never heard of Richard Pryor?
No, this is the thing. Like, I have a drug that makes me feel like God is tickling my belly. Oh, someone will stick a needle in their arm. Oh, I have a headache. Well, maybe I'm not going to put a needle in my arm. Oh, I have a skinny drug that makes everyone hot. Well, if it's not in pill form, I'm not going to take that thing. Can you imagine what I would do to my body if they had a hair drug? I would.
Yeah.
I would do hourly injections. I would carry around one of those little like roly drips of whatever the sauce is that's in there. I don't care. I would do almost anything. I would give a limb. If they said you got to hack off a hand, but you get a thick head of hair, done.
You're
You're
a very handsome bald man.
No,
you don't need to do any of those things.
Left or right, does it matter? Because you could take them both.
Bald is beautiful.
Worth it. I would in a heartbeat.
Bald is beautiful. I'm sorry, but come on. I got to tell you, the president's going after communism. He's also talking about Saudi Arabia getting the bomb. That's right, as in the nuclear atomic bomb. And at the White House press briefing today, Karoline Leavitt was saying, look, Saudi Arabia can get the bomb if they are able to make Iran into a good, stable nation. But a lot of people are turning around and going, do we really want Saudi Arabia to have nuclear enrichment? Do we really want them to have a nuclear weapon? That debate is playing out right now as the strikes on Iran continue in a big way. But before I get into the president fighting communism, Dr. Mike Veneria, speaking of doctors, is a great guy, and he delivers for his patients. Complex dental implants, complex dental surgeries. If you need that, you call Dr. Mike, because he's been helping people for over 12, I should say for decades, but for the last 10, 12 years. What he's known for is other doctors and dentists sending their patients to him. Now think about that. A doctor, a dentist, they say, this is really complex. We're going to send you to Dr. Mike. We're going to call up Dr. Mike Veneria and refer you to him. And they're putting their reputation on the line, and they would not be doing that unless Dr. Mike delivered, because these doctors and dentists, they got big egos, right? So they're not going to send a patient to Dr. Mike unless he's going to do a great job. And he does. And that's the point. You get a free implant consultation. And if you already had an estimate for one, get a second opinion. It's worth doing. Complex dental procedures, but also family dentistry as well. And the entire Zeoli family goes to Dr. Mike Veneria. Bridget got a beautiful smile upgrade from him last year when her veneers needed to be replaced with caps. And I'm a patient. I was supposed to have my appointment with him yesterday, like I mentioned, but I had to reschedule because I had to go to New York. But he understood. He's a great friend. And Patrick, Claire, and Reagan all go to Dr. Mike as well. So if you've been putting off going to the dentist, please stop putting it off. You need to get a beautiful smile. And speaking of health, we're learning more and more about how your oral health combines with your microbiome and your heart, and it's all connected because the body's a system. So if you're not taking care of your gums and your teeth, you might have heart disease problems. There's a link between, all anxiety and stress. I mean, it's all connected. I'm not an expert in this, but I've been listening to people talk about the vagus nerve and, how it runs and what causes stress. And your mouth plays a big role in that. So go see Dr. Mike Veneria today by going to veneriadental.com, VANARIA, veneriadental.com. President Trump is taking the fight on communism. Now, the question is, will the youngins, the kids today, will they heed the lessons? My opinion is probably not, because I think they've been indoctrinated through years of public education and then college professors who were like, communism's great, man. Problem is it's never been tried right. That's the only issue. It's just never been tried right. If they just did the right way, would have been awesome. Here's the president last night.
While our administration is lifting up the next generation with the power of freedom and American capitalism, proven all over the world when it's done right. It's not always done right, but when it's done right, there's nothing like it. The radical left is actively trying to destroy our children's future with the disaster known as communism. It's communism. This isn't a social democrat. These are communists by another name, right? As I said in my recent address at Mount Rushmore recently. I don't know if anybody saw it, such a beautiful place. You know, the communists want to take it down. They tried taking Mount Rushmore down. They want to blow it up. They want to take it down. They shouldn't be up there. These people are crazy. But communism is, in my opinion, communism is the single greatest threat to our country and its history, including even World War I and World War II, Pearl Harbor, 9/11. I think it's the greatest threat that I've ever seen to our country. These people are stone cold crazy.
And you know what? Stone cold crazy, and he's not wrong. Hassan Piker, who we've talked a lot about on this show, he's a vile human being. He's one of the most vile human beings. I mean, it's amazing that he has become the most prominent voice on the left. And, you know, John Fetterman's criticized him. He's like, you know, you have this guy who said horrible things like America deserved 9/11, says horrible things about Jews, has crazy conspiracy theories. He's the one that dressed like Chairman Mao the other day. We played that clip for you from the Chairman Mao collection at Macy's. His dream candidate for 2028, AOC. And he says it's not even a question, by the way. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Sandy from Yorktown Heights. Now, they asked her, would you run for president? She didn't say no. She dodged it. She said, my focus right now is on the midterms. We got to make sure Democrats win in the midterms. But they asked her flat out, you're going to New Hampshire? She's going to New Hampshire to give a speech. Let me tell you something. You don't go to New Hampshire to deliver a political speech unless you're going to run for president. That's it. That's the only reason you go. I mean, New Hampshire's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you want to go to vacation there and go to Lake Winnipesaukee, like, what about Bob? Yeah, absolutely. I'm sailing. That's such a great movie. I'm sorry. That's an underrated movie.
Absolutely.
Bill Murray, Richard Dreyfuss. What about Bob? Come on, Jared.
It's fantastic. The kids are great. The whole thing. I watched it. I don't know, a couple of summers ago. Holds up. Perfect.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yes.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
It's honestly. I mean, it feels a little 90s-ish in terms of the fashion.
Yeah.
Plot holds up. It's great.
The funniest is when he's tied up to the mast of the ship, the boat, and whatever it is, I'm sailing.
Absolutely.
I'm sailing.
Absolutely. No, Bill Murray's fantastic.
And Dreyfuss gives him his book, Baby Steps, and then charges him $25 for the book.
Yeah. Baby steps to the car. Baby steps to the...
Baby steps.
That's great.
Oh, man. But that's the only reason you go to New Hampshire if you're a politician. You're not going to Lake Winnipesaukee to go boating, Jared. You're going to because you're running for president. AOC is not going fishing on Lake Winnipesaukee. She's giving a political speech at a dinner. But they asked her. They said, "You're going to run?" She's like, "Well, I mean, we got to make sure the Democrats win the midterms." That is the way that they say, "I'm running," because they can't say that they're running. But that's how they let everybody know. Because, I mean, otherwise you go, president? I'm not running for freaking president. What are you, nuts? Who the hell wants that job? You just shut it down. But they all play that little game, right? Of like, well, I mean, right now my focus is blah, 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 blah. President saying that with communism, everything, this is a flashback, or I should say, this is one of those things where we have to do earmuffs. Cut 2.
America is back. It's stronger than ever before. And I'm telling you, it's only going one way. It's going up. As long as we keep our current thinking, our current system, it's going up. If you go the other way, nothing ever succeeds. I made the statement once, with communism, everything turns to shit. Okay? It's true. Terrible thing.
Oh, I love it. I do. I love it. But
Rich,
look, the crazies.
I thought you were going to play.
What, Jared?
I thought you might play the one from 2 nights ago. Did you happen to see the guy behind Trump at his rally doing a Trump impression?
No.
I pulled this just for you.
Any time in the history of our country, and Americans are working today,
look at that guy.
More so than ever before.
He's doing so good.
Wait, is that
today than we've ever had?
Is that real?
Yes. So that was from 2 nights.
The Islamic Republic of Iran, and I call it that.
If you're not watching on YouTube, and you should be, youtube.com/@RichZeoli show. There is a guy in the, I would say, second or third row behind the president who is doing the hand movements of Trump as Trump is talking.
And mouthing the words. He's mouthing the
and
words
mouthing
along,
the words.
too. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh my God, how did I miss that? That's amazing. Great find, Jared. Look at that guy.
Working today more so than ever before. We have more jobs today than we've ever had.
This guy's a king. I love it.
We have with the Islamic Republic.
And somebody turns to him and is like, you got to knock it off. You're on camera. You see the guy next to him who's like, tells him to stop, but he doesn't really stop. He just starts making facial movements.
Anytime in the history of our country.
And then he keeps going.
I love it.
See, somebody in the White House advance team's getting fired over this because those are the premium experience seats behind the president of the United States. And typically you got to know somebody, you got to be a VIP, you got to be very important to get one of just to get in usually is a big deal. But to get behind the president and all the presidential events that I've helped run over the years, it's always, the state party chair picks people, the county chairs pick people, and it's politicians. Nobody's supposed to be up there mocking the president as he's speaking, doing an impression. Somebody from the White House advance office is getting fired, or the political office. Am I right?
But I don't think he's mocking him. I think he just really likes him. I think it's an homage. Also,
interesting.
If you're at the thing, I think he's wearing the red hat the whole bit. Like, the point is, I think he really likes Trump, but I can't imagine the advance team and like, okay, do you have any felonies? No. Do you have any outstanding warrants? No. Do you do an impression of Trump that you can't control when you're sitting in a rally? Like, I wouldn't ask that as a prep question.
Like, it's like Trump Tourette's, basically. You know what I mean?
He does. That's exactly what it is.
It's amazing. That really is amazing. But the president's not wrong when he talks about these crazy people. I mean, for example, last couple of days, we've talked about how Mamdani, who sat behind that desk looking like he was running for high school class president, finally admitted he doesn't have the power to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu for war crimes. Paul Morrow, our buddy from Fox News, wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal saying, if you were to do that, it would be kidnapping. So we can't arrest Netanyahu, but does that stop squad member Rashida Tlaib from trying to find a creative solution to the arrest Benjamin Netanyahu problem that the left seems to have right now? Here you go.
I'm obsessed with him. He's doing a great job.
Well, he's exploring ways to arrest Netanyahu. What do you think about that?
Arrest him. He's a war criminal.
Does he even have the authority to explore the arrest of Netanyahu?
I don't know if it applies to citizen's arrest. If he needs help, tell him to call me.
A citizen's arrest? Good luck trying to get within 1,000 yards of him.
A citizen's arrest. That's the answer. A citizen's arrest. It's Rashida Tlaib. I mean, these people are nuts, man. They're crazy. They really are. They are crazy. And I'll put up a graphic for you from Libs of TikTok. They went to how Democrats register illegals to vote through the DMV. In 19 states and the District of Columbia, illegals are able to get a driver's license. New Jersey being one of those states. We played you the clip yesterday of Murphy saying that. The same DMV where the National Voter Registration Act requires that all driver's license applications and renewals also serve as a simultaneous voter registration application unless the applicant fails to sign the voter registration. This means that in at least 19 states, illegals can be registered to vote in federal elections as long as they check the U.S. citizen box. That's all it takes. Or if there's a software error, they can automatically be registered. Saying you are a citizen when you're not is illegal, but there's nothing actually stopping them from doing that. They don't have to provide evidence. These people illegally come to our country. Their first act here is illegal. They do not care about the rule of law. Democrats plan this. First, they pass laws allowing illegals to get driver's licenses. And then they block laws which require proof of U.S. citizenship to register them to vote. And then they put up another graphic from the National Conference of State Legislatures showing 19 states and the District of Columbia enacting these laws to allow unauthorized immigrants to obtain driver's licenses. And they include New Jersey. And so when you have this happen, and they're blue states, I've said this before and I'll say it again. How can you tell me democracy is dying if my vote gets canceled out by somebody who does not have the right to vote? How is that democracy? It's not. That's the bottom line. I'm trying to multitask throughout the show. This is what I do. I multitask. You might notice I'm check the phone. I'm a multitasker, but it turns out men, we get accused. I think we get a bad rap that we're not good at multitasking. Like women are better. Women are better at it. Studyfinds.com. Men actually don't multitask worse. They just stop talking. Men and women multitasked about equally well overall, but men talked far less under pressure. And that silence, rather than any skill gap, maybe what feeds a stereotype that women multitask better. In 5-task multitasking course, men answered far fewer conversation questions than women while matching them on cooking, phone number searching, a letter number task, and word monitoring. When men did answer, their replies were just as fast and just as good, so only the number of answers dropped, not the quality. In other words, we're guys, and we do things, but what we don't do is talk. It's like, I'll cook dinner, I'll be doing this, I'm reading the paper, but I don't want to chit-chat while I'm doing it, whereas I think the women want to chit-chat during the multitasking, and then the men get, I mean, Jared, I think that's pretty much what it comes down to. The chit-chat, how was your day? Like that kind of a thing, you know?
Reminded me of the fight. Like, why are you so quiet? Why are you being so quiet? You okay? Why are you being so quiet? I was like, I don't want to talk right now. I'm multitasking. Not everything is a conversation.
I'll come home sometimes from New York or something and then Bridget will come in. She'll be like, "How was your day?" I'm like, "It's over," and I don't want to revisit it. I think the "How was your day" thing is like that's like a woman's favorite line.
Yes. Also, I think that's code for "Ask me how my day was." Hack.
Yeah. Thank you for that hack.
Additionally, I think that there's a like needing to fill the void with chatter. And when I am like, even today, getting ready for this show, it was a little tight, like in terms of what else I was doing. And like, my wife's like, "Hey, how were things?" It was like, "It's great. Leave me alone." Like, we're working here. We got to get this thing done. I don't have time for this.
Oh man, I love it. That's great. It's unbelievable. But I enjoy. I love multitasking. Small talk, chit chat is time and a place. I think guys, they say we go into our cave, like we do our thing. It's like ingrained in us. But I got multitasking talking about this and monitoring the White House press briefing for you.
Yeah, you don't seem like you don't seem like you're multitasking at all through this entire show. But there's just 1 hour of your day as you're like, like clips are playing and you're barely on camera. Like,
I'll do a better job of staring at the camera like I'm on.
Yes, please. Thank you. TV rich.
TV. I can do that. I can do a better job of that. No problem. But I was looking at the White House press briefing, and Karoline Leavitt said President Trump's patience is running out. He wants to see as much of the Save America Act pass as possible by the August recess. I'm trying to look at the camera. He knows that's what the American people want. The House did its job. The Senate needs to do its job too. Look at that multitasking. She said it's completely unacceptable to have non-citizens on American voter rolls voting in U.S. elections.
Why does you staring at the camera mean you can't move your lips? Like, it's a bad ventriloquism thing you're doing. You're like pasted smile, like pretending the camera's frozen. You're like, Karoline Leavitt said this afternoon. Like, I don't.
She says it's 6,600. He's suspected it's a lot more.
Get on now, Jersey.
POTUS is hell-bent on getting at the bottom of this. This is why we need to pass the Save America Act. That's what Karoline Leavitt said at the White House press briefing today, as I'm multitasking and giving you all of this information and great content so you don't miss anything. So there you go. I didn't mean to look like, who was that famous ventriloquist who...
I don't.
Like
Jeff
Uncle
Dunham.
Charlie or something like that, right? Like Uncle, what was the guy who had
sorry. Jeff Dunham is the only ventriloquist I can think of. Period. Sorry.
I feel like I was at Parks Casino with him years ago and his like doll, and now I can't remember.
No matter what I'm ready for in any given show, there is just some obscure thing that I just didn't get to. Like that, I didn't have that one. Sorry. The comment section, I'm sure, is alive with.
The comment section right now is probably answering this question for us.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
And they're yelling as they're doing it too. Yep. Like, it's Uncle Floyd. Or you know what I mean? Like, it's like
that. A lot
that.
of attitude, I'm sure. A lot of attitude.
Well, we'll be live in Cape May from 3 to 6 p.m. on August 7th, and I want to see you there at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey, my happy place, for our first live show of the year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So mark your calendar, take off work. You deserve it. Friday, August 7th, 3 to 6 p.m., Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Please tell your friends, tell your enemies to subscribe to the Rich Zeoli podcast. Thank you.
Any time in the history of our country, and Americans are working today more so than ever before. We have more jobs.
He's good. He's good.